Good morning, it's March 4th, 2013. Well, February's gone, and March is in like a lion, but it'll soon be out like a lamb, and we'll be headed towards springtime. Now, I'm going to bring you these Monday morning alerts, brought to you by myself, Mitch Zumba, DeKalb and Asgrow, and also Precision Planting. This first Monday morning alert, we're going to go over meters and planter settings and planter setup. I'm going to keep it kind of short because there's a good video that I'm going to include a link at the bottom of this email. Go ahead and look at that link. It's about a 10-minute long link, 10-minute long video that goes over planter, problems, what to look for from the seed opening disc to your tail assembly. I'm going to look at meters. If you haven't brought your meters in, we've been doing meters for a couple months. It's time to get them in here and get them looked at. If you're not going to bring them in, I got a couple meters here. We can look at a couple things I can show you quick, or if you want to drop by and just put one on the stand and run it and see if you need anything, just stop in and give me a call and let me know. The meter is probably one of the most important parts to the planter. You're traveling 5 miles an hour, that's 8 feet per second. That's 16 seeds per second. So a skip or double here can be costly with $5 and $6 corn. Every skip's going to cost you, every 1,000 skips per acre is going to cost you 8 bushel. So 8 bushel times $5, that's $40 if you're missing 1,000 plants per acre. That's big money these days. So I'm going to show you, first of all, we're going to look at a finger meter. I'm going to hold it up. This is the back plate on the finger meter. This is the finger set. Now, one thing you can look for on the finger set is right here where my thumb is, where the finger rides on this portion of the back plate. If you're getting flat spots on that portion of the finger is not going to roll right. You're going to get more skips, thus causing you loss in ears. Make sure all the springs are good if you're going to look at them yourself. Really, the only way to tell is to run them on a stand. But if you're going to look at them yourself, main part is these flat spots, and then all the fingers have about the same tension. As you look at the back plate, you want to look at this bump here. This happens to be a precision finger meter. But if you look at the bump, if it's getting a question mark, diagram war in here is what I call it, a question mark, where the bump is starting to go away. Your back plate or your insert, if you have a precision plate, needs replaced. Look at the brush. This is a new brush. If your brush is frayed, I recommend putting new brushes in every year. I mean, they're cheap and they're good insurance at knocking those doubles out. A finger meter is not made to run tight. It's made to run loose. It's made to pick up 1 or 2 seeds and then sort out your doubles up here, drop them in the belt, inspect your belts. What we do here, I would suggest taking this whole back plate off, inspect the whole belt inside, spray it with spray graphite, put it back together. Make sure you get the belt in right. There's a gauge in there on the drive wheel to tell you how to get that back together. Finger meter, pretty reliable. I'm not going to guarantee no breakdowns when we run them on the stand, but we do as good as we can. If any parts are wore or it's not performing well, they're replaced. Finger meter's been around a long time. Plants variety of seed sizes and shapes. It's pretty good meter. Next, we're going to look at the E-set from Precision Planting. For those of you running the E-set, the plate looks like this, like so. Here's your singulator. The main thing to look at on the E-set is that gap between that last lobe and the size of the hole, how much it covers up the hole. If it gets wore too much, it's going to knock off seed. You're going to start getting skips. Again, costly skips. We'd rather have doubles than skips, but we'd rather have pure singulation than anything. But if that's covering up too much of the hole, you're going to start getting skips and you're going to be disappointed. Way to check that is, I've got a handy dandy gauge here. You stick it down in the hole. It's kind of tough to do here, kind of tough to see on video. You're going to stick it in the hole, and then if it doesn't touch the lobe on that last lobe on the singulator, then you're good. If it pushes it out of the way, there isn't enough of the hole showing, and you're gonna start getting skips. Other thing in the ESET meter, you got the extractor, which is probably a year or 2 year replacement part. I'm gonna hold it up here. You can see the little wear bar, I will call it, where it juts in. If it's down that far, it's time to replace your extractor. The extractor knocks out broken seeds, chipped seeds, anything that might stick in a hole and cause you skips every time that disc goes around. So those are the 3 main parts that probably need replaced in the ESET. As you look in your housing, make sure your brushes are good so no seed gets in the backside of the seed pool. As you can see, there's your singulator. There's how you got to pull the singulator out to check it on the disc. So I would suggest pulling at least one out, pull the disc out, bring it on over. I'll stick my gauge in and make sure it's good for you. If it's not, I'll send you home with a pocket full of singulators. So that's the main thing to check on the inside of the meter. Make sure your gate's down too if you're planting corn. You don't want to overfill that meter. You don't want to overfill that meter and have it knocking kernels off. We can get enough kernels in there. We can get enough seeds in there with the gate down. So there's the inside. Other thing to check on your vac meter, make sure your seals are good. This is a brand new seal we put in this meter. We were getting about 0.5% skips. Could not figure out why. Put in singulators, put in discs. Actually the seals were laying down on it, giving us about 0.5% skips. That's costing us 20-25 bucks an acre. So make sure your seals are good, and you can put them back together and put them on the ESET. As far as the deer plates go, you know, same thing with the deer plates. Make sure your seals are good. Make sure if you're running the Pro Max 40, make sure your singulators are set at the right distance. I mean, I know you really don't know that until you get to the field with the singulator on the Pro Max 40, but do as good a job as you can. If you want to bring one over, we can put one on the stand, run some seed through it, tell you about where to sit that singulator, but it's tough to tell until you get to the field. As far as the white, you guys with whites, you guys know it's got the lowest seed release point. The main thing is having that seed size to the disc size. So, I mean, it's a great planter, but there's not many replacement parts. Case planter, make sure you got your disc and your back seal, or whatever you want to call it. There's no grooves or in your disc, or if you're going to replace them, you got to replace both the disc and the cover at the same time, because they kind of go hand in hand, and don't get them mixed up. Otherwise you'll start losing vacuum. You'll start leaking out vacuum, and your seed release will be terrible. You'll have a spacing problem. As far as the planter goes, like I said, there's a link at the bottom of this email. Check that out. You know, from your row cleaners to your parallel links to your seed opening disc, gauge wheel arms. Don't forget the chains and sprockets. If you have any questions, you can give me a call or stop by. Anytime I'm around, feel free to stop by. I'll answer any questions. So, for myself and this Monday Morning Alert, hopefully we see you next Monday. Thank you.